Well, it paves the way for high-speed trains between the Midlands and London. Laid end-to-end with its 50,000 pages of small print, the HS2 bill itself would probably stretch from Euston to Birmingham International. No, not really, of course, just Watford Junction. Coachloads of anti-HS2 campaigners descended on Westminster for a mass lobby of Parliament, but the Transport Secretary remains determined to press ahead, urged on by some, but by no means all, of our local council leaders. Here is our transport correspondent, Peter Plisner.
Legislation allowing the government to build HS2 is more than 50,000 pages long, including its various supporting documents. As it went before Parliament, protesters gathered again to make their point.
This is a bad policy, and I view that bad policies eventually fail. It may take a long time to fail, but this is such a bad one, at some stage it's going to fall over.
Campaigners from Solihull and parts of Warwickshire and Staffordshire joined demonstrators from along the route from London to Birmingham and further north.
Well, we're here to stop this HS2 madness, £50 billion on a railway line that nobody really needs.
Tuesday, and the Transport Secretary appeared before the Transport Select Committee defending the high-speed link. Current price tag nearly £43 billion.
I believe it is absolutely essential for the long-term interests of the United Kingdom that this railway goes ahead. So I'm 100% confident that it is both the right thing for the United Kingdom and it is the right thing for us to be able to compete in a global economy.
Hundreds of copies of the bill will now be distributed along the route of HS2. MPs will vote on it. If it's passed, then the government will have the necessary powers to start buying up houses and land, like here in Birmingham city centre, to build the line. Council leaders from the 10 largest cities outside London have given full backing to the project, much to the delight of the Prime Minister, if not the campaigners desperate to derail the HS2 bill.
Strong feelings all round. And you heard, Izzy, your party colleague there, the Transport Secretary, Mr McLaughlin, saying it's essential to the long-term interests of the UK. Now, your authority has come out against high-speed rail, so surely this is the point where you put your narrow parochialism for one side and just look at the wider interests of Britain as a whole.
Well, things have changed, haven't they? We're now not talking about high speed, we're talking about capacity. And my suggestion is, if we'd started the whole debate on capacity, would we be looking at this route? Would we have changed the routes? We could have aligned it alongside the M1.
But there's no changing it now. I mean, it's too far down the track, if I can put it that way. That, you know, this is the plan that there is, and this is, you know, capacity and all. This is the plan that we have, and the government recommends.
Absolutely true, but it goes through Warwickshire, 30 miles plus of Warwickshire. It does not stop at all. We get no benefit. I question whether the capacity on the lines that we currently use and get the best benefit, very good services through both Coventry, Rugby, and indeed on the other lines through Warwick Parkway, whether we're going to see any change in that because of this.
Well, so they say not. They say that actually there's a net benefit to other services as well. We saw your party colleague there, Albert Bohr, for Birmingham, in the line-up there of core city leaders, and you've been taking him to task, rather, for his position on high-speed rail as the leader of a black country authority yourself.
Well, Patrick, I just, point out that the big city leaders don't speak for us all. I'm not opposed to HS2. I'm not particularly in favour of HS2, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of the reasons is, can we really afford to spend £42 billion at the moment when my local authority's already taken £65 million out of its local budget, and I'm sure
but it's over a very long time frame, and they point out that the government say that 3 times as much government spending on transport other than HS2, even when this project goes ahead.
Well, that's all well and good, Patrick, but let me tell you that you can't get a buzz in parts of Sandwell after 6 o'clock at night. I would suggest that we need to sort out our local transport infrastructures first, and I'm also very concerned about the impact this is going to have on the rail network locally. They're talking about capacity, freight and all the rest of it. Don't get me wrong, I'm no expert on transport, but, can we really afford it now?
One of the points about this, though, is surely that we know that there's this big consensus, at the top of British politics, surely that realistically now, The point should be that you just acknowledge that and concentrate on compensation for people affected by it, and on by the environmental and economic amelioration of the effects of building that line.
I have to look at how it impacts on Warwickshire, and frankly we are going to be inundated with the construction, the impact of that construction over many, many years. We're going to have communities on one side and businesses, the impact on the economy of how do they get to one side, to the other side, how do carers access people that they're supporting. This is going to cost our local authority, my taxpayers, a lot of money, a huge impact for many, many years.
Again, thank you very much indeed.